Hello everybody, I am Joel. We are Silver Arrow Cars, and this is our 2019 Porsche 911 Speedster. And this has the Heritage Package. Of course, the Heritage Package cars came in GT Silver. And also with the Heritage Package, starting at the front, you have a different crest. This is a painted on emblem, and that is a harkening back to the original Porsche crest. And then the Heritage Package also included the cognac leather interior and then all of the gold accent trim around the car. You'll see it throughout the car and on the exterior of the car here. So only Heritage cars got the gold emblems. Only Heritage cars received as part of the Heritage Package, which was about $29,000 Canadian or $25,000 US. Only those Heritage Package cars got the cognac and black leather interior that you see here. And then generally, when you ordered a Heritage Package car, you also got the Heritage livery. And the Heritage livery was the circle decal on the side, the Porsche script along the bottom, and then on the front was painted white, not decals, it's painted white. So the whole nose is in fact white, and then the white would come up the fenders and run to the back. So this car was ordered as a Porsche 911 Speedster with Heritage Package, and then very astutely was then ordered with the Heritage exterior livery delete. So you get a full GT silver car without the white paint on the front end that you cannot get rid of, and then without the decals that you see normally on these cars on the sides. So I would say, as far as spec goes and collectability for a 911 Speedster, without it being a paint to sample car, this is exactly how you would want one ordered. All the gold emblems, the Heritage Package, the Heritage livery delete, and then the carbon fiber bucket seats with the cognac and black leather interior. Now, when ordering these, then you can order it further, and then you can option it with whatever options it is that you would like. So this car was spec'd with the LED matrix headlights with PDLS in black. It was also ordered with the silver painted wheels. Those are the same as the GT3 wheels. Of course, it has carbon ceramic brakes with the calipers in black. And then, as I said, the Heritage Package was also ordered with bows. It was also ordered with the aluminum pedals. It was also ordered with Sport Chrono. It was also ordered with front lift, keys painted in exterior color, light design package, and then some of the smaller options that add up. I think the big one to point out is the Heritage Package. Big one is front lift, the good headlights, and then some of the other small stuff still adds up to make such a great spec. This car currently, as we photographed it, it does have the shark fin paint protection shark fins on the back in black. Those should be clear. However, we photographed the car with them on, so we left them on. Those are very easily removed. So if you don't know what the Speedster is, essentially the Speedster is a 991.2, so the end of the 991s. And the Speedster is essentially a GT3, well, essentially more like a GT3 Touring, but an open top car, being that it is a Speedster. They are numbered cars, so there was 1,948 of these cars built for the world. And then as you break them down, I would guess roughly half maybe have Heritage Package. There was a lot built that were done in colors and comfort seats, no gold emblems, all the rest. So I don't know what the actual numbers would be, but to find one in the Heritage package and with the right options on the inside is few and far between, especially if you want to find one that doesn't have that white striping on the front. So essentially a GT3 Touring, but a numbered car from Porsche exclusive, 1948, built for the world. And then the suspension, or the chassis, or the suspension I should say, is set up softer and more compliant, say, than a GT3. However, extremely well planted. It has the GT3 front bumper with the venting in the front, and on the top of the bumper, and then through the front, that same look. The carbon ceramic brakes from a GT3 or the GT cars. It has that same naturally aspirated 4-liter. However, with the Speedster and the end of the 991s, they gave it individual throttle bodies. So I believe 510 horsepower for the Speedster. I think it was 503 for the GT3. So slight power increase. It does have a different exhaust note to it, or engine note to it, and most definitely that is coming from the individual throttle bodies. Driving experience on the car is another level. So when you're driving in the car, being that rear Speedster hump, which I will say, this is all carbon fiber. So the rear Speedster hump is so high up compared to your seat height, and then your windshield has more rake and is lower than a normal 911 windshield. You sit quite far down in the car. It feels more like you're driving a Targa car than you are a convertible. It does not feel like you're as exposed when you're driving a normal 911 cabriolet. Does also have, like the GT3, like the GT3 RS, carbon fenders, carbon hood, and then that carbon rear bonnet as well. So lightweight body panels like the GT cars, the engine of the GT cars. What's different than some of the other Porsche models, these were all manual transmission cars. And this has the 6-speed manual transmission, not the 7-speed, which I believe for most people, the 6-speed is highly desirable from the GT cars. This car has roughly 400 miles on it. This was delivered new in Vancouver. The car is now sitting in Blaine, Washington, and titled in Washington State. Of course, the Canadian cars and the US cars essentially were the same build. They're California EPA compliant. They have all the same safety standards as the US cars. Just some cars were delivered to Canada, some cars to the USA, and then duties, currency, etc. are all factored in. So the MSRPs in Canada and the US were slightly different, but I think by all standards we measure cars and their value by US MSRPs. So the car's had 2 services in its life of 400 miles. We just brought it back from our local Porsche dealership where they did the major service due for time, of course not due for mileage at 400 miles. The books have been filled out and stamped. The car comes with both of its keys, all of its original books and manuals, and is like new everywhere. The full front end has been PPF wrapped, and it has been virtually since new. So there's no blemishes, chips, or otherwise to speak of. The front chin spoiler is extremely tidy. Does not have big chafes on it on the front lip. The wheels are all perfect. The windshield, perfect as well. Dash and interior. Passenger seat has received very little wear. The driver's front carbon bucket, very much like new as well. Now, I will say, and interesting to know, so on these carbon fiber bucket seats from Porsche, These panels, these upholstered panels, so your front seat and your rear, the backrest, those actually Velcro in and out of the car. So if one wanted to add houndstooth to this car to make it much look like the sport classics of today or some of the heritage interiors that Porsche is doing more often now, that is easily ordered. You can order them online from some very reputable third-party shops, and cost is around $3,500 US. This is car 897 out of the 1,948 cars built. Everything inside the car feels like new. All the surfaces, the touchscreen still has this plastic protective layer on it. The car also has extended leather in the headrests. The dash is all leather. The vent surrounds are leather with stitching. There are your books and manuals. The car does have CarPlay. Of course, when you have the carbon fiber bucket seats, you do not have heated or ventilated seats. Steering wheel feels like new. And then I'm just going to show you how you would put the top up. First, actually, you can either release that or key in the ignition. Hitting this button releases the rear. Now, I should have the spoiler down, but that's okay. So we lift up and back on the rear tonneau. You can see that's all carbon fiber. And then quite easily, one hand is slightly more challenging. Lift up the top. Rear tonneau. These wings snap in to these little spots here. They clip in. Those release when you go to open the roof. And then to secure the top, and that's it. So let's hop outside the car and just give you a look of the top. I've left the spoiler up. So that door glass, being that the top is so much smaller than a normal cab top, your door glass is also much shorter than a normal 911. Completely sealed, so if you were in the rain, there's nowhere for water to get in. It is a totally complete and watertight top. Just a deadly, deadly car. And then I'll just show you how easily that top goes down. keying the ignition as if to open top. It releases, and then it releases the trunk, and it releases these two wings. So same process. Carefully release your rear tonneau, pulling it up and back at the same time. And then this will be easy with one hand. Just fold it back into its compartment. And then back down on the tonneau. Securing that. Let's put down the spoiler. There you have it. So just to wrap up, this is our 2019 Porsche 911 Speedster with Heritage package, and then also optioned with Heritage Livery Delete, or the exterior livery delete, which is a fairly rare option to find. You'll find a lot of them with that white painted front nose, which is not removable, and then the decals along the side. It does have front lift. The entire front is PPF'd. Car has 400 miles, is sitting in Washington State on a Washington State title. Has the carbon fiber bucket seats. The Heritage package that includes all the gold emblems. The interior is the Heritage interiors. That's the cognac leather with black leather. Extended leather through the headrests, around the vents, the entire dash. Car is like new, freshly serviced at Porsche. It's full, major service done and inspection as per recommended by Porsche, not by time, or not by miles, of course, with 400 miles. Of course, it is a clean Carfax, and it does have CPO until September 2025. We are Silver Arrow Cars. I am Joel Friesen. If you have any questions, please reach out. Hopefully, I have answered all the questions you might have on this Speedster.